Hello folks, welcome back to the channel. As you can see, the screen's taken up with this rather large box. I've been suffering a little bit of sort of lack of enthusiasm really for model making the last couple of months. I had all those computer problems and everything, but I'm looking for something to get me back into the game, and I came across some articles online about the Airfix 112 Bentley, and it was originally issued in 1971, and I got this kit for Christmas. I would have been 11 years old at the time, 10 or 11, and so every year I used to get the latest Airfix super kit. So it might have been one of the aircraft, like the Mustang or the Harrier. And this particular year, I got the Bentley, and so this kit, it's not the one I received then. That's long gone, but I was keen to have another go, and I discovered this one on eBay for a really good price, and I was keen to get one of the later, the earlier issues, and in fact this is a first issue from 1971, because obviously going back that far, the molds are going to be a lot cleaner, so the parts should be relatively flash free and the details should be a little bit sharper. It's been reissued 5 times. I think the last was in about 2020, and it was also done by MPC, who included a base with it as well, like a kind of a cobbled street. I think it's the same base that came with the Christie fire engine. But as I say, this is the original issue. So as you can see, the box is a little bit worse for wear. But the contents, I've checked the contents and they are all there. So I'll take this lid off, and this is pretty much how it arrived, and whether they've had the parts out of this box before, I don't know, but it's got all its original card inserts, and all the parts were presented like this in the original kit. So these are all in the original bags, and everything's here, including the electric motor. And you could motorize this, and I did do that with mine when I built it, and a bit dangerous, because all it does is it basically sort of drives across the carpet and sort of smashes into the skirting board. So it's not really suitable for taking outside, and it's not really suitable for radio control. I've never seen anyone build this into a radio control kit. And being styrene, it's not going to stand up to any kind of collision. So so I've no intention of using the motor, but it's nice to have this. Now I did notice that it comes with a metal rear axle, and this kit, it's obviously been stored somewhere damp, maybe, because the axle is pitted with rust, also a little bit bent as well. So I don't know where it's been. I can easily replace this. It's just a little piece of steel, so that's not a problem. I might even just clean this up and bend it straight again. But that's the only real metal part in the kit. So the kit as it came with these, and this was the same with the 1/24th scale aircraft. I think up to the Harrier, maybe the Hurricane had one in as well. They used to come with these really high gloss booklets with all the instructions in, and obviously the images on the front were the sort of paint guide, and there's a nice history of the car on the back. And the 1/24th scale aircraft, the motor was incorporated inside the actual engine. So, and it's got like a sort of bit of a gearbox going on in here, which steps the motor speed down to a speed that's a little bit more in scale. So really nice presentation, and they obviously put a lot of thought into how this kit was packaged. There's the vinyl tires, and some of the other vinyl parts. You get vinyl straps for the bonnet, which I won't be using. I'm going to be using, I've seen it done with leather, actually, with real leather, but certainly maybe lead foil, but possibly leather. I don't know. I'll see how I go with that one. And these other vinyl parts were for the gearbox. A bit difficult to see them on camera because they're, there you go, that's better, the black vinyl. And the prop shafts were vinyl as well. There's a part off the sprue there, like a little tiny gear. But yeah, so that was all in vinyl. The tyres themselves, given the age of the kit, I was a little bit worried because I thought they might be a little bit on the crispy side, but they're not. They're still soft. And I well remember the one that I built when I was, what was I, 10 or 11. I made the mistake of painting the tyres with Humbrol enamel, with matte black, and they never dried because you paint enamel onto vinyl and it just never ever dries, and they were always sort of sticky to the touch. Obviously I know a little bit better than that myself now, but it's just one of those things that you learn through experience. There is a part that you have to cut off these tyres, this kind of ring on the inside, but otherwise they do feel reasonably soft, but a little bit more on the wheels in a minute. So this this kit itself, it came with different types of plated parts. Now, in fact, there's another of the little gears that's floating about in the box. I'll pop that in there. So much of it, like the floor panel, which is wrong anyway because it should have a wooden floor in it, and the main block of the engine and the firewall there, came plated in this kind of satin, almost like a sort of satin chrome finish. There's another sprue of that there, and this has got the instrument panel on, which is, I don't know whether it'll show up under the plastic there, but it's got that kind of turned aluminium sort of polished effect. I'm not sure about that at the moment, but we'll see how that looks. But most of this chrome I'm going to strip off, and I'll paint it. It also came with some actual chrome parts. Now the chrome on this isn't bad. I've seen worse, but I'm not planning on using these parts as is. I mean, obviously, if you leave the original chrome on, you can't get rid of the mold seams and everything. This looks completely wrong. This that's the handbrake, I think, isn't it? Which it just doesn't look right in chrome. So all these are going to be repainted. But as I say, they're all presented on this kind of cardboard insert that protects the parts in transit. And given that this kit is what is it now, 54 years old, is it? It's lasted quite well. This piece of paper, by the way, this is that's the sort of additional instruction that tells you how to take the molding thing off the inside of the tire. And then there's a set of decals. Now these have seen better days, but there is a set of paint masks available for this. To be honest, the Union flags, they look okay, and the fact that they're slightly yellowed doesn't really detract from them, because I mean, the register's good on them, but they'd also be a little bit sort of grubby anyway because it was a racing car. I doubt I'll be using these numbers. I'll probably paint these on, and I may not in fact use the numbers at all. Now the other strange thing about these, and I'll have to see how these come out, is that these black circles here are actually the clocks for the inside of the dash, and they're printed in reverse, and they're designed to go on the back of the transparency that goes inside the clocks. So I'm going to see what these are like, and I may end up using some other form of clocks for this. I don't know how these were done in the reissue. I'm assuming the very last issue of this kit, which came out in 2020, it probably had cartographed decals in it, but I'll have to see about that. I mean, they feel okay. You know, they don't feel dried out. Obviously they're very yellowed, but I don't know. We'll see how we go with that one. So the main parts is this big bag of green parts here, and this is why I was keen to get this in its original form, because the louvres in the bonnet, and they're absolutely spot on, and there's no damage to the parts. And there is a bit wrong with this car that you do have to change. You know, sort of information's come to light, and there's, you know, better materials you can use and that kind of thing. But it's, you know, it's a good basis for a build. Also in here, there's quite a few parts loose in the bag. There's the old complaint slip there, and here's the transparencies, typical of the day, just flung in with all the other parts. Now, although I'll probably possibly use the screens and the lenses for the headlights, I won't be using these parts, because these are the mesh guards for the headlights, but these were just molded onto a kind of clear plastic. I'll be replacing those with metal mesh. Similarly for the there's a mesh guard that goes over the windscreen as well, so that's going to get replaced. There's also a bag of black parts with another complaint slip in it, and some loose parts in the bag, but these bags are still sealed. And I mean, the smell of this kit, it doesn't smell damp, so it's possibly it's been in somebody's loft, it just smelled old. Not you know, it's not a bad smell, but obviously with the rust on that metal bar, it could have been somewhere where there's gradually a little bit of damp got in. But equally, these haven't been damaged by it. There's no foxing on them or anything, so it is strange that this is taken on that rust, but the rest of the kit seems pretty clean. So and these instructions are mint. They're absolutely perfect. I still have the original instructions somewhere from the original one that I had all those years ago. So there's the parts. Interestingly, on the box top, which only just fits on the camera there, you can see on this drawing here that this says actual size. So this was to give you an indication of what you were getting in the box. You know, there's a 1/12 scale car right there, and there's a little bit of history on the front, and you can't really see the sides of the box, but there you go, they're upside down, but you can see it just shows you what's actually inside the kit. And for its time, this packaging was quite innovative, really. And I did paint it at the time. It wasn't, you know, that it was beyond me. I did paint it that green colour. Probably not the best, but not too bad. Now, something I have got is this set here, and one of the things that sort of got me thinking about doing this project was I found this on the internet, and it's a company called Unobtainium Digital, and they produce, amongst other things, a set of wire wheels for the Bentley. And this is the instructions. You get a link to this and you download the instructions off the internet, and it shows you how to put the wheels together bit by bit, and what you actually get in the box. And interestingly, that I didn't realize when I ordered it at the time, but the guy is only about a half an hour away from me, but I ordered it and it was delivered, and then I suddenly realized where it was he lived. So you get these 5 rims, and you get some hubs. You get the knockoffs for the whole the wheel onto the car, and then you get some other bits, but I'll show you those in a minute. So the actual rims themselves, let's get a better view of that. There you go. You see, you can see these are all 3D printed, and you can see that the holes are already printed into them. Now the way this works is this is the rim here, and obviously the tire sits on this section here. And when you've built the wheel, you build it with this sort of template thing inside. And then once you've built it and all the spokes and everything are all glued in, then you trim through these tabs on the back, and this rear section separates, and it just leaves the hub and the rim with all the spokes attached. So there's quite a lot of work involved in them, but it's well worth the effort when they're done. So obviously you get these, which are the rims. There's the hubs close up. You can see all those tiny holes all pre-cast into the or printed into the resin there, and that's your knockoff sort of hubs. And they've actually got, I don't know whether it'll show up on the camera here, but they've actually got Bentley printed on the very end. And in this as well, I'm going to get a better view of that. Oh, there you go. And you can see those tiny sort of pimples there. They're actually valve stems for the wheels. You get two sets of them there, so they get attached to the rims. And then the final part is there's 3 sets of these, and close up. See if we can get a better focus again. There you go. And they're the nipple part of the spoke. You can see the tiny holes in the end there. And obviously you have to cut these off individually and then assemble them, and the spoke slides into those. And they're the bits that get tightened up. If you've ever done a bicycle wheel and tighten the spokes, you'll know there's like a spanner goes on those and puts the tension into the spoke. So they get glued in as well. And I'm assuming there's lots of spares of those. There's quite a lot on each section. So if you end up breaking some or losing them in the carpet or whatever. So that's that was the kind of catalyst really for doing this. So so hopefully I'm going to make a start on this fairly soon. There's lots of other things that can be done to this. Obviously there's the mesh work, which I've got to look at. A lot of this, it's not provided in the kit, but a lot of this, these parts on the front had their own stone guards, and the fuel tank on the back, although it does have a pattern of a kind of mesh molded onto it, it really needs to be like a 3D mesh. Now somebody does do a 3D print of this, but I'm going to add my own mesh to this with some sort of thin brass strip or whatever, and build it up that way. So there's a lot that can be done on each individual piece of this. I've seen one online where they lit the headlights and the tail lights. That's an option, I suppose. It's certainly big enough to do that, and you could go mad with it really. But I'm gonna have it. There's a nice one actually online. I don't know who built it, but it's a one that took part in a a rally. I think it might have been the well, it would have been known as the Peking Rally back then. Obviously Beijing now. I've seen one like that, and it's got extra tires on the back. That looks quite nice. But there's a lot that you can do with it. Virtually every piece in this. A lot of the tubular section things, like this steering column, it could be replaced, a lot of it, with aluminium tube. And there's various bits that you could replace with brass tubing, and a lot of these parts off the suspension and off the engine and things. They could be replaced. See, there's like this part here. That could all be done in brass or copper maybe. So a fair bit to do, but I'll make a start on it. It's Saturday here now. Next Saturday is actually the Telford show, Scale Model World, which I go to every year. I'm not actually on a table there this year, and I'm not exhibiting or anything, which will give me a chance to go around, see the whole show, and hopefully I'll bump into a few people I know, and no doubt I'll end up spending a bit of money while I'm there. But it'd be nice to be able to get around the entire show, and who knows, I might see one of these built up somewhere on a stand. I can take some photos for a bit of inspiration. Yeah, so I'll if you do recognize me and spot me about, then just give us a shout. And I met quite a few people last year when I was on a stand there, so it was quite interesting. But always happy to chat with people as well. So if we're lucky enough to meet up, then great. If not, like and subscribe if you see anything you like here and you want to keep up to this. Hopefully this will get my sort of mojo working again, and I'll get back into the swing of things, and then finish off some of those long-term projects that I've had running, so I can sort of make a bit of space in here and start doing some other stuff. So as ever, thanks for watching, and hopefully you got something out of this, and keep an eye out for the next video, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.